Breaking news tonight on Channel 5 News. We've had an outbreak of anthrax sourced from the corporation Anthraxia Incorporated, and it has thousands of casualties already from exposure. Although it has only slightly spread due to CDC intervention, everyone should take proper precautions immediately, as in visit your doctor if flu-like symptoms occur and avoid all Anthraxia products. The cause of anthrax is Bacillus anthracis, a bacteria from domain Eubacteria, kingdom Bacteria, phylum Firmicutes, class Bacilli, order Bacilliates, family Bacilliaceae, genus Bacillus, and then species Anthracis, with Bacillus cereus and Bacillus thuringiensis as its close relative. However, exact ancestry and phylogenetic connections are still being researched. This is a recent phylogenetic tree depicting relations using the feature frequency profile method. Now for our expert on B. anthracis structure and for our physiology expert as well.
So yes, this is very serious. This is not something that you guys should play around with. So I just want to give you guys a little bit background on the structure of this species. I'm specifically talking about Bacillus anthrax. So this comes from a bacteria called Bacillus anthracis. This Bacillus anthracis is a gram-positive bacteria, and I drew out a picture for you guys to see. So if you look here, this is the gram-positive rod-shaped bacteria of Bacillus anthracis. So just to give you an idea, here is the size. So the width is between 1 and 1.2 micrometers, and the length is between 3 and 5 micrometers. So that gives you an idea of how tiny this species is. I do want to point out that this circular piece of DNA, this is 5,227,293 base pairs of DNA in that one single cell of this species. So these two toxins here are endotoxins that I want to talk to you guys about. Yes, so those two extra chromosomal plasmids in the cell of Bacillus anthracis, those are two toxins. One of the toxins is PXO1 and the other one is PXO2, and these are responsible for making the Bacillus anthracis toxic. So although it is a rod-shaped bacteria, gram-positive, meaning that it does have a thicker cell wall because of the peptidoglycan, and if you gram stain it, you will see it as purple. But the toxins that are double-stranded, that is what causes it to be toxic. Both the two toxins, PXO1 and PXO2, are required for full virulence, and the spores produced from this bacteria, those are the spores that are highly resistant to adverse environmental conditions, which make bacteria of this species very, very easy to live and thrive off of any type of environment. It's been proposed and it's been studied that Bacillus anthracis really is dependent on its sporulation in order to survive. So that's one study that's been done at this moment, and something that we're studying structurally to see how we can combat this species in cooperation with the CDC. So I have my expert partner here who is an expert on the physiological side of the species. So let's see what she has to say next.
Thank you, Melissa. So unlike the other members of Bacillus cereus group, Anthracis is non-motile. However, just like them, it forms a resistant spores. They can survive in soil for decades. It is possible because of what Melissa mentioned earlier. They are endospores. Endospores can survive stress environment like high temperature, high UV radiations, desiccations, chemical damage, and enzymatic disruptions. So endospore formation is usually triggered when a lack of nutrients, and so the DNA divides within its cell wall. The mother's membranes engulf the developing spore. Having two membrane layers, that provides the chemical and enzymatic resistance. Also, endospores are composed of unique cellular structures that makes it so dormant spores, like cortex and germ cell wall. Cortex is there for dehydration of spore core, which aids in resistance to high temperature, and beneath it there is a germ cell wall, which will become the cell wall of the bacterium after germination. Anthraces have a growth range of 10 degrees Celsius to 48 degrees Celsius, with optimal growth at 28 to 35 degrees Celsius. Upon the infection, spores germinate to become vegetative cells, and now finally they can replicate to high numbers in virtually all body tissues. Bacillus anthracis is a potential agent of biological warfare because it can be infected by inhalations. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, experts, for that info. Now for our anchor in the field. How is it out there?
I'm here today with Gertrude Babinski, who was one of the first to suffer from the anthrax outbreak. Ms. Babinski lost her fiancé to anthrax infection shortly after the Anthraxia Incorporated outbreak. Can you tell us a little bit about your fiancé's infection?
Well, my fiance Jack was an Uber Eats driver.
Uh-huh.
He delivered lunch to someone that works in Anthraxia Incorporated. And a couple days later, he felt like he was getting the flu. And after 3 days of not feeling better, we took him to the hospital. And 22 hours later, he was dead.
Was he treated at the hospital for anthrax infection? By the way, I'm sorry about your loss.
Thank you. Oh, well, the doctors weren't able to properly diagnose Jack in time to prevent his death because they didn't know that anthrax was in the community yet. Heck, I didn't even know what anthrax was before the doctors explained it to me.
Me too. How have your families and friends reacted to the outbreak?
Well, we're all terrified. We don't feel safe leaving our homes because it's like a silent predator is waiting for us. So many are dead, but we feel a little bit better now that doctors are on the lookout, so treatment can begin in the early stages.
Do you feel comfortable with Anthraxia Incorporated continue work with the Bacillus anthracis?
Well, I don't feel comfortable at all. I feel like they should pay for all the deaths they've caused. There's no good that comes from working with anthrax, and they really need to be shut down.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Babinski. To all our viewers, remember to avoid leaving your house and to wear protective equipment like masks, eye goggles, gloves as much as possible. Spores can be carried in the wind or on people's clothing. Immediately cover any cuts or open wounds and seek immediate medical attention if they begin to look infected. If you begin to feel flu-like symptoms, go see a doctor. Keep watching for updates on staying safe. Back to you, Summer.
That's awful to hear. Good luck out there and stay safe. Now we have 2 more guest experts. Welcome, experts of ecology and metabolic diversity.
Anthrax infections occur annually in naturally occurring settings across the world. Bacillus anthracis is a zoonotic organism that is seen in large herbivores like cattle and sheep. Anthrax spores remain dormant where these animals graze. Under normal circumstances, the people at highest risk of spore exposure are involved in livestock handling and animal product production, where contact with an infected animal is always a possibility. Bacillus anthracis is most common in warmer environments with moist and alkaline soil. Sporulation is also promoted by high levels of calcium in the soil, which allow for spores to survive longer. Anthrax is a seasonal disease because of how weather conditions change to aid sporulation. Cycles from wet to dry conditions leave organic material in the ground that is needed by vegetative cells. Spores are common in depressions in the land because water will collect there during the raining periods and dry up in the drier periods. Carcass sites of animals that have died from anthrax contain extra nutrients leading to healthier vegetation. In turn, grazers are attracted to these spots and infection rates are higher. Our current outbreak, however, is not from one of these normal settings. We'll now go on to our expert in metabolic diversity.
Thank you, Channel 5 News, again for helping us educate the public on this tragedy. The Bacillus genus are basically aerobes or facultative anaerobes. Aerobes mean they need oxygen as the final electron acceptor in respiration. Being facultative anaerobes means they won't find oxygen to be toxic, despite not needing it to live, as they can utilize it but will use fermentation otherwise. Bacillus anthracis is a non-fastidious facultative anaerobe. Being non-fastidious, it can grow with very little to no nutrients. This is especially seen in its endospore formation when under very stressful conditions. The spores can last up to 40 years and are quite difficult to destroy due to this trait. So be on the lookout for those spores.
Thanks again to our experts. We have a lot more information about this terrible outbreak. Hopefully you folks out there can stay safe as this epidemic is cleared. Surprisingly, a spokesperson of Anthraxia Incorporated has offered to give us an explanation for this mess. Hello, time to explain yourselves. Is this an extreme form of advertising or something?
Hi, my name is Melissa from Anthraxia Incorporated, and there's no need to be alarmed. A lot of people are out here going crazy, but let me talk to you guys about the pros about Anthraxia. So it's really not that bad. A lot of precautionary terms and things are already taking place right now with us as well as the CDC. When using Anthraxia as a biological weapon to protect ourselves and our country, it is the most beneficial thing because you need the smallest amount of this species. The spores that it produces help spread like wildfire. It spreads so quickly and the spores can live up to long periods of time. And also, in order to synthesize the toxins like PXO1 and PXO2, you just need small amounts of glucose and bicarbonate, which are two readily accessible molecules in the environment that we can easily access in order to produce the toxins of this species. Since these ions can be mass produced, this makes this bacteria such a great biological weapon to help protect us, as well as yourselves. Many studies are already being done to use this species as a form of protection to us and this country from enemies, and to also alter the genes of this species and of the spores in order to affect the enemy in such a way that the mortality rates aren't rising. So it affects them to the point that it doesn't kill them. Any corporations, governments, officials, scientists would like to get their hands on Anthraxia, you may call us at 1-888-ANTHRAXIA. Again, that's 1-888-ANTHRAXIA, Anthraxia, to be on our list. Thank you.
Everyone, please take this information and be careful. There will be more updates soon, so keep a lookout. This has been your local Channel 5 News, and stay safe.